Good morning, everyone. My name is Cassandra Williams of Cassandra Williams Enterprise. I am a wife, I'm a mother, I'm an author, entrepreneur, certified professional life and empowerment coach. As your victory coach, I help wise, busy professional women and kingdom leaders build the life that they've always dreamed of and live there. No longer second guessing yourself, no longer hiding in the shadows, no longer allowing your past to dictate what your future looks like. I help you navigate those waters of change, do the work, and stay in your healthy, happy, whole place. Okay. And so we have been talking about the rules of engagement. Thank you to my replay viewers, those people that have gotten here by a tag, a share, or an invite. Thank you so much for listening to until its entirety. I think you'll get something at the end of this teaching. I hope that you feel equipped. I hope that you feel empowered. I hope that you are encouraged. But most of all, I hope that you are educated to act. I want you to move in that put into that place of action because so often we hold on to what we have and we don't share it with other people. You have a great idea and you don't share it. You learn about a good product, but you don't share it. You keep it for yourself. So I want you to be moved to action on today. And we've been talking about the rules of engagement. That when life happens, when things come up, when it's time to take a stand, there are things we got to do. There are certain things that we can't just jump out there. We've got to kind of have a little bit of organization to what we're doing, so that we can all be on the same page. Because if you look at your hand, I remember an example that one of my pastors did. He said, if you take your hand, one finger can do something when you're typing and you're doing things on your phone, one finger. But how much more powerful is it when you ball up all five of your fingers? Each one is necessary, but when they all five come together, what can you do? Okay. And so we're learning to come together for our common goal. So we talked about what who is our enemy. We talked about who is that person or what is that thing that we are supposed to be fighting, because we've got to make certain that we're fighting the right thing in the right manner. Yesterday we talked about what part do you play? You can no longer sit around and hope and wish that somebody else is going to do it for you. You've got to get in position. You've got to take up your, you got to take up your cross. Okay. Um, in this day and time, with the way things are set up, people are saying, where are the church? Well, you are the church. I am the church. What am I doing? So when they say, what is the church doing? They're saying, what are you doing? Right. So what part do you play in everything? For those of you that follow me on Facebook, I put up a post. Hi, Just Jazzy. Thanks for coming in. I put up a post that has 26 things that you can do. If you're not on the front line, if you can't go out and protest and all of that, you still have a part to play in the things that are going on right now. You can write your congressman. You can get in the room where decisions are being made. You have something. Um, you have something that you can do. Okay, so how can we be a part of the solution and not the problem? So, what role do you play? Today, we are going to talk about being, we're going to talk about a word most of us don't like all the time, um, consistency. Are you consistent? Um, Many of us are not. We start, we stop, we go, we quit. Um, we're good for a moment, but we don't have endurance. We're not able to go through, stick to the process. We get tired. We do. Or we just be like, or we're not, we do it half-heartedly because we're not in it for the right reasons. But whatever reason, we're not consistent. We're not even. We're not regular. We don't move in unity, firmness, constancy. We're not able to do it long term. Guys, do you know that what we're walking through right now and what we're going through, and there are lots of things in your life that you've got to be consistent. This is one of my new favorite things because I'm going to be, coach is going to do what she's supposed to do to be healthy, right? So I've started juicing. And I don't want to buy all that equipment. I don't want to buy all of this stuff, right? And so, guess what? I had to find someone that could do that for me. So that I could be consistent, I had to come into partnership with someone that makes something that I like. Because I'm one of those people that if I don't like the way it tastes, I'm not going to do it, right? Well, coach, what does that have to do with what we're talking about today? The rules of engagement. You've got to be consistent. You've got, once you find your place, you've got to be consistent in doing what you've been called to do. If you've been called to fund, if you've been called to write, if you've been called to speak, if you've been called to walk, protest, whatever that thing may be, you've got to stay consistent because this is not a momentary thing. You can't just be caught up in this one moment and think that that's enough. It's not, and that's how we keep ending up here. I'm a victory coach. And so my job is to come out here and help us to figure out how not to be here again. How do we stop ending up in this place, in this state, with this mentality? How do we effectively change and move us forward? And so we have to have consistency. Um, we have to, first of all, we have to, Galatians 6:9, let us not grow weary of doing good, for in due season we will reap if we don't give up. We've got to stay consistent with the good things. We've got to stay consistent with getting in the room. We've got to stay consistent because, listen, let me tell you something. The cameras are going to turn off. They're going to stop covering. It's not going to be so widespread and well known. It's not. But when the cameras are turned off, will we still be consistent? When the rioters and the looters in Jesus' name stop, then guess what? What happens next? When the protesters in your community, when they stop taking to the streets, will you take to the boardroom? Will you get into the rooms that you're supposed to get in? Will you continue to do the things that you're supposed to do? Will you go to the council meetings? Will you make sure that your local government is doing what they're supposed to be doing for your community? We got to take it back one city, one community, at one household at a time. And so, are you going to be consistent, or are you going to get weary in your well doing, and are you going to fall back into old habits, old bad habits? Good morning, Anita. Thanks for coming in, sis. Are you going to fall back into old habits? Those things that you've always done. And then guess what? Because when we start doing what we've always done, we're going to get what we've always got. So we have to be consistent with what we're doing. Okay. And then we have 2 Kings 13:18 through 19. Okay. Then he said that, and we're talking about Elisha, the prophet Elisha, now pick up the other arrows and strike them against the ground. So the king picked them up and struck the ground 3 times. Now he did what he told him to do, right? He told him to pick up the arrows. He told him to strike the ground. And he did what he was supposed to do. People have told you, put up the little black screen on your social media. You did that. They said they've called for people to come to protest. They've done that. They were calling for people to write letters. You've done that, right? Hi, Savat. Thanks for coming in. Um, you've done all of that. That they tell you to eat right. For those of you that are trying to live healthy, because this applies to every area of your life. Okay, the rules of engagement applies to every area. You've done what they told you to do. So he struck the ground 3 times. In him striking the ground 3 times. And the man of God, Elisha, was angry with him. And he said, you should have struck 5 or 6 times. Remain consistent. Then you would have struck Syria till you had destroyed it. But now you will strike Syria only 3 times. Right? And so we've got to be consistent in every area of your life. You cannot no longer be the president and CEO of the Start Stop ministry. You can't start doing this, start doing things and then stop. You can't go live one time and then stop. You can't just be happy that you wrote the first chapter of that book and then you stop. You can't be happy that you wrote one letter to your congressman and then you stop. You can't be happy that, you know what, I ate a salad today and I walked today, but then you stopped. If we're going to see truly, if you're truly going to live in that place of victory, you are going to have to remain consistent. If you're going to have generational wealth, you're going to have to be consistent. You're going to have to show up. You're going to have to do things you may not want to do. I don't like to exercise. I'm going to be honest. I don't like it. But guess what? We got to do it. We got to do it. I don't always want to eat healthy, but I have to do it. So there are things that you're going to have to do in this season that you may not want to do, but it's for the greater good. It's for the ultimate victory. It's for the thing that hey Rhonda, thanks for coming in, sis. You have to, if you're gonna have that, you've got to be consistent. You've got to break the habit. It takes about 21 days to break a habit. 21. So for all of us that sometimes like this to be a microwave, feel like a microwave society. That's not what this is not that. This is not that. We've got to have some longevity. You've got to be, if you're going to live in victory, because you can have victory and not be able to stay there. You can have a momentary victory. Like I said, you can be like, oh, I did it. You know how those little kids when they're learning to go to the bathroom and they run in there and they're like, I did it, and you're so excited, and then tomorrow they just forget everything they did the day before. Yeah, I don't want us to be like that. I don't want you, as your coach, I don't want you to fall back this time. Rules of engagement, we've got to stay consistent. We've got to stay in the fight. We've got to stay until it's done. Consistency. Because if you're not consistent, it's going to look good for a moment. You're going to think you won, but you didn't complete the cycle. You didn't complete the process. What if, when we look at the story of David and Goliath and him bringing down Goliath, you know, he he took Goliath's sword and took his head off. He had to finish it. He had to go the whole. He had to complete the assignment. You can't just be happy with one small. Yes, we're happy for every movement that we make in the right direction. But here's the thing, you can't get stuck in that one moment of victory. Every battle leads to winning the war, right? So we've got to stay consistent until the war. We've got to stay consistent until that senseless murders stop. We've got to stay consistent. We've got to get in the room. We got to write our congressman. We got to do what needs to be done. We've got to come together as one body. We've got to come together as in unity. Remember, we talked about yesterday. Everybody, each member plays a part. We've all got to come together and make this thing happen. But we got to be consistent. We can't get weary. We can't get tired when CNN is no longer covering it, when Fox News has turned off the cameras, then what? That's when the real work starts. That's when it really starts, when nobody's watching. Can you be consistent when nobody's watching, when your face isn't plastered all over the newspaper or the news, can you be consistent then? Are you in the fight then? Consistency. That's what we're talking about today, guys. We're talking about being consistent. Good morning, Glorified 26. Good morning, Empowering to you. Thank you for coming in this morning. We've got to be consistent. Whatever you're putting your hands to right now, whatever your purpose is in this moment, you've got to be consistent. Consistency. The prophet told him, he said, you only struck 3 times. You only did, yeah, you did what I told you, but had you been consistent, you would have completely defeated the enemy that you were fighting. And some of you keep wondering, why can't I get over this spirit of poverty? You're not consistent with your money. You're wondering, why can't I get be why can't I get over, this weight? Why am I still just holding on to it? I go so far and then I fall all the way back. You're not consistent. You start to see the results, but you're not consistent after you reach the goal. Y'all, we got to maintain. That's one of the things I teach is maintenance. You've got to maintain. Getting there is one thing. Getting justice is one thing. Maintaining justice is something else. Consistency. We have to be consistent in our daily walk. Whatever it is that you're putting your hands to do, be consistent. Okay? That's the word I have for you today. Consistency. We're talking about rules of engagement. We've got to know who our enemy is. We've got to know what part we're playing in the battle and do that. And then we've got to be consistent with what we've been given to do. Don't be in other people's lanes. Be consistent in what you've been instructed to do because your part matters. Your part matters. And as we get ready to go into Father's Day, Father's Day should look a little different this year. It should be a lot different this year. With the state of what we're in right now, we should be able to appreciate more. It should be different. The feel around it should be different. It shouldn't just be another day that we overlook. It should be different this year. Okay? So, ladies, you have time. You have time. You have time to make it happen. Be consistent, whatever it is that you're putting your hands to. Consistency. Our scriptures this morning was Galatians 6:9. Let us not grow weary in our well doing, for in due season you shall reap. And then 2 Kings 13:18 through 19, that we're going to be consistent. We're not going to do just enough to say we did something, but we are going to see it until it ends. We are going to stay consistent this time. We're not going to just be here for the moment. Are you here long term? Are you here for the duration? Are you here to see it until the end? Will you remain consistent? And you've got to ask yourself that, okay? Um, for those of you that may have found yourselves in a place and you're like, Coach, I just listen. I'm not good. I'm not good. I want you to go to bit.ly/ask CW 24/7, bit.ly ask CW 24/7, and let's have a conversation. Let's get you to a good place. You can also connect with me at www.thecassandrawilliams.com, where you can find out about my coaching programs, t-shirts, books that I have written. I am an author and I am a victory coach. I help you build the life that you've always dreamed of, and I help you live there. Okay. So that is who I am, where you can find me. I'm usually out here on Periscope and on Facebook at 6:30 a.m. Could not get on Periscope, so I'm on Instagram this morning. So good morning to my Instagram family. So I'm on Instagram and I'm on Facebook this morning. But you have to remain consistent. Be consistent, whatever it is. Whatever that thing is you're trying to learn, whatever that thing is, you'll never master it if you're not consistent. You have to be. Good morning, Kamita. Thanks for coming in, sis. You have to be. Amen. Thank you, sis. I appreciate that. I appreciate it. You will be. You have to remain consistent. You'll never master something that you just pick up and put it down. Pick it up, put it down. Pick it up, put it down. I'm learning to be a day trader through forex trading, and I have to consistently study those charts. I have to consistently watch what I eat. I have to consistently, if I'm serious about it, if you're serious about what you're doing, you've got to be consistent. Because if you're not consistent, then you're gonna be a part of the start stop ministry. And I've been there. I started, I stop it, I started, I stop it, and there was no fruit, no growth, nothing. Okay. So love you guys to life. Thank you so much for coming in today. Um, Look at the areas where you need to be consistent. You need to tighten up. I'm not that coach that's going to come down. Yes, I want you to feel encouraged by this teaching. I want you to feel encouraged. I want you to feel equipped. I want you to feel like you can take on the world. I want you to be empowered. But I want to educate you. You've got to be consistent because I need you to act. I need you to implement. I need that application because when things happen in your life, you've got to be able to apply this word. So I love you guys to life. Go out and be consistent today. Be consistent. And if you need me, go to www.thecassandrawilliams.com. Okay? Love you. Have an amazing day. Bye. Uh, Amita, no, I'm not. Okay, I got Instagram. Thank you guys so much for always coming in. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for tagging. Um, Always. I appreciate you guys. So I will definitely see you everyone tomorrow morning for another cup of tea. Talk to you later. Bye.